For several years now, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have been under relentless attack from certain sections of the British press, with the Daily Mail leading the charge. Two of the most notorious journalists behind this campaign are Richard Eden and Amanda Platell, whose reporting on the Sussexes is consistently negative, riddled with half-truths and laced with gossip. It's clear that these writers have abandoned any pretense of impartiality, routinely painting Meghan and Harry in the worst possible light. Let's dive into how their work has crossed the line into absurdity and bias, exposing them as mouthpieces for an establishment bent on controlling public opinion. Anyone paying attention to Eden and Platell's columns will notice a pattern of unrelenting criticism. No matter what Meghan and Harry do, these two journalists find a way to twist their actions into something nefarious or selfish. In their eyes, the Sussexes can do no right. Meghan Markle in particular has been subjected to a character assassination that mirrors the worst kinds of tabloid sensationalism. But why? The answer lies in the role the British establishment, and, by extension, the media, plays in shaping public opinion. Meghan and Harry's departure from the royal family, their refusal to play by the rules of the monarchy, and their vocal criticism of the UK media's often toxic behaviour were perceived as threats to the carefully constructed image of the royal family and British institutions. Writers like Eden and Platell, who work for publications deeply embedded within the establishment, have taken it upon themselves to defend the status quo by vilifying the couple. Richard Eden, who contributes regularly to the Daily Mail's gossip columns, often sensationalises minor stories about the Sussexes, making mountains out of molehills. One notable example is his coverage of Meghan and Harry's 2022 visit to the UK for the Platinum Jubilee. Eden claimed that their presence was overshadowing Queen Elizabeth II's celebration and suggested that they were trying to steal the limelight, when, in fact, the couple attended only private, low-key events and avoided the main festivities. His portrayal of them as attention-seeking was blatantly false, yet it served to stoke resentment against them. Another example is Eden's repeated insinuations that Meghan and Harry's decision to step down from royal duties was driven purely by selfishness and greed. He ignored the couple's valid concerns about mental health, the racial abuse Meghan faced from the media, and their desire for a different kind of life. Eden conveniently overlooks the fact that Meghan and Harry have continued to use their platform for philanthropic causes, something they repeatedly stated was important to them. The hypocrisy in Eden's reporting becomes glaring when you compare how he covers other royal family members. When Prince Andrew was embroiled in his scandal regarding Jeffrey Epstein, Eden's tone was strikingly soft, avoiding any harsh language or persistent criticism. This disparity in coverage reveals that his issue isn't with royals behaving badly, it's with Meghan and Harry specifically. Amanda Platell's contributions to the Daily Mail are similarly problematic, often dripping with misogynistic undertones. She has repeatedly taken aim at Meghan Markle in ways that have no basis in reality. For instance, in one of her columns, Platell accused Meghan of being fake and manipulative in her relationships with her family, casting her as the villain in the royal split. Platell painted Meghan as someone who discarded people as soon as they were no longer useful to her, without a shred of evidence to back up such a claim. One of the most laughable critiques from Platell was her condemnation of Meghan for being too political in encouraging young people to vote during the 2020 US election. Platell argued that Meghan was crossing a line by engaging in politics, yet she has repeatedly praised Kate Middleton for her charitable work and appearances at politically adjacent events. The double standard is obvious. Meghan is damned for using her platform to advocate for causes, while other royal women are praised for the same behaviour. The glaring hypocrisy in Platell's criticism is further exposed when you consider her history of defending controversial figures like Boris Johnson, even when they are embroiled in serious scandals. While Platell has attacked Meghan for being divisive, she has openly supported Johnson during his tenure as Prime Minister, despite his well-documented ethical lapses. This selective outrage reveals her clear bias and calls into question her credibility as a commentator on public figures. It's no coincidence that both Eden and Platell have positioned themselves as vocal critics of the Sussexes while remaining staunch defenders of the royal family and other establishment figures. Their bias reflects a broader strategy within sections of the British media: maintain the monarchy's image at all costs, even if it means scapegoating Meghan and Harry. This dynamic is part of a larger effort to control public perception. Meghan, as a biracial American woman, and Harry, as a prince willing to step back from his royal duties, represent a threat to the status quo. Their departure from the royal family, coupled with their candid interviews about the racism and mistreatment they endured, challenged the traditional narrative of an unassailable British monarchy. This is something the establishment and its media allies could not tolerate. Eden and Platell's endless attacks on the Sussexes serve to perpetuate the idea that Meghan and Harry are other, outsiders who don't belong. This narrative distracts from the very real issues they've raised about media abuse, mental health, and institutional racism. The relentless negative coverage is designed to reinforce old hierarchies, ensuring that the British public remains loyal to the monarchy and sceptical of anyone who challenges it. In consistently maligning Meghan and Harry, Richard Eden and Amanda Platell have lost all credibility as journalists or commentators. Their hypocrisy, selective outrage, and transparent bias reveal them as nothing more than tools of a broader establishment agenda. Far from speaking on behalf of the public, they represent a media machine that seeks to control public opinion and suppress dissent. Their relentless negativity toward the Sussexes is not just mean-spirited. It is part of a concerted effort to ensure that Meghan and Harry are never seen as sympathetic figures. Yet, as more people see through the obvious bias in their reporting, Eden and Platell's grip on public opinion is slipping. They may continue to churn out their manufactured outrage, but their status as respectable voices is long gone. This serves as a reminder of how powerful institutions, whether the monarchy or the media, will go to great lengths to maintain control over the narrative, no matter how transparent the bias may be.